Kevin Durant, he came out and he gave a very sparking quote, right? It was all over the outlets. It was all over your phone and the TV. And he spoke very honestly. And what he said, pretty much what he said, he's the only good player on the Nets squad right now. Since that night, this was after, by the way, the Nets lost to the Sacramento Kings. Since that night, they beat the third seed Portland Trailblazers. Remember the tip-in game? So two things right off the bat. Number one, he's not wrong. He's not wrong, right? The team that's been put in place is awful. Anyone with two eyes can see that. We can argue about the James Harden situation. It didn't pan out. The losses they took from that, the Ben Simmons, the instability of the coaches, Kyrie Irving's innate ability to drag a team down completely. Or, the fact that Kevin Durant, he got everything he wanted. But, despite that, in the present tense, today, the Brooklyn Nets, the lineups that they are coming out with are really, really bad. Okay, so that's one. It's a lottery team without Kevin Durant. And when you read that quote, the second point that really stands out is, would LeBron James say that? He wouldn't. Would Kobe Bryant say that? I don't think he would. And before you start sending out your comments, I think there's a big difference between calling out players in a very strategic manner, motivating players, which is what Kobe Bryant did from time to time. He did that a lot in the past. And just like what this was throwing your own players under the bus. There is a difference between going off at your teammates in the locker rooms, behind closed doors, and you telling them exactly how you feel. And then there's saying that to the media. I don't like disparaging players for speaking honestly, like truthfully to the media, because let's be honest, like 99% of the time, 99.9% of the time, players come out, they give these monotone responses that mean absolutely nothing. It means absolutely nothing what they're saying. They can speak 5 minutes on a monologue and say nothing. They're tired after a game. The last thing they want to do is talk to the media, who really only negatives can really come from that, especially after a loss, and especially after a loss against the Sacramento Kings. So, they say what they've been trained to say, which again is absolutely nothing. But Kevin Durant didn't do that. I like that. He said the truth. My only issue with him is that what he said is like clearly, it's common sense. It's clearly damaging to a team. No one likes to go to work and hear their boss all over social media saying that the entire operation, that they run the entire operation, that your talent, that what you bring to the table does not impact expectations, doesn't impact the final result. And again, Kevin Durant, he's not necessarily wrong. But who could say that 1,000 times? LeBron James for about a dozen years in Cleveland. And what do you know? He got the best out of players, right? His approach for handling and speaking honestly about, because you don't speak honestly all the time. His approach for answering that question completely strategically, he got the best out of players. J.R. Smith was very, very confident playing with LeBron James. He shot his absolute best playing with LeBron James. Matthew Dellavedova shot his best playing with LeBron James. Played his best defense with LeBron James. Anderson Varejao made a goddamn all-defensive team playing with LeBron James. It's not just LeBron. NBA legends of all personality types, all different shapes and sizes and all different personalities, because they're not alike at all. All of these legends are distinct in their own unique way. But the best leaders of all time would not say that. They just wouldn't. And this right here exemplifies why Kevin Durant is not in that conversation, at least to me. He's not in the conversation with the Larrys. He's not in the conversations with the Magics, with the Duncans, because despite the just God-given obvious talent, he's never been an excellent leader. He has never been an excellent leader. You can make a lot of excuses for why he never won a championship other than those 2 healthy years in Golden State. When, let's be honest, I mean, of course he was going... I'm not saying it didn't mean anything. I'm not saying that. But of course he was going to win. What did he prove? When he came into a franchise, when the structure of the leadership was already established, what did he prove? It was... And that's why he left. It was, despite the points, despite the accolades, despite looking in his bedroom, seeing 2 Finals MVP trophies, he left because he knew it wasn't his team, right? And we can talk until the sun goes down about Westbrook. And Westbrook was an MVP player, by the way. Can we just say Westbrook was an MVP player playing with Kevin Durant. Like, he was an excellent contributor for those Thunder teams. I mean, he had flaws. Of course he had flaws. You ask any team in the league, those 29 other teams in the league, would you take Russell Westbrook from 2010 to 2016? Every single team is lining up and they're making phone calls. Every single one of them. What about Harden? What about him, right? Like, we're witnessing the greatest example of how it's the importance of leadership skills and people skills and how it translates into winning, because you got this guy who's very talented. You know, I always think Kevin Durant's a little bit like Wilt Chamberlain. Maybe not that bad, but KD is not as crazy, he's not as selfish, he's not as insane as Wilt. But it's kind of like he just never really quite got it. 2 championships, he kind of just never really got it. And again, LeBron James wouldn't say that. Giannis wouldn't say that. Magic, Larry, Steph. You tell me if I'm wrong. Like and subscribe.
1.